weather. Here is Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Well, I know yesterday I said to be on the lookout for some early morning fog, but those winds turning out of the north just kept that cloud bank just south of us. Now we saw some good cloud cover making its way in from the northwest because that storm is on its way. And tomorrow's looking like a pretty cloudy day and a windy one as well, but no dust storms in sight. Temperatures over the last 24 hours finally looking more regular and standard all the way down into those 50s. Look at that gradual cool down. Then we warmed right back up into those 80s, and we're already dropping down tonight into those 50s. But we'll see how much heat we hold on to with a lot of this cloud cover. 79 in San Angelo. Everybody else in a combination of those upper 80s, those mid 80s, a little bit of green sliding its way in from the north, where we have some of those colder winds turning in from 76 in Sterling City, 89 down there in Junction, 13 degrees across the entire Concho Valley, outside of the standard right now, but those humidity points are on their way up. Dew points are in there in those 20s, 30s, and 40s, while humidity indices are in those 20s and those teens, way up from yesterday where we were down there in those single digits. But you saw the drought monitor still dry. Now, as this cloud cover makes its way out, unfortunately no rain, but we're on the lookout for the next round by this weekend, hopefully overnight, but it's just not going to be enough off the west coast. We're keeping our eye on the next round of weather making its way onshore, where they're expected to see about another 4 feet of snow from this storm, as well as about 3 inches of rain across the west coast. Now, the upper level pattern showing you where the high pressure is getting ready to set up for this summer. We're keeping our eyes somewhere around Tennessee, but this high pressure allowing series of low pressure systems to make their way through. Now, that's going to keep us in those comfortable temperatures. Everybody else going to be dealing with some late snow as we make our way into spring. And off the east coast, they're getting ready to deal with rounds of thunderstorms down here in the Concho Valley, keeping our eye on the returning instability, some of that cloud cover, but watching off the west coast for the next round of severe weather. Severe weather outlook as I move out of the way. This is kind of where we have targeted for this year for severe weather season. The longer it has to set up, the more probable it is to be in this area. Now, when we talk about the high pressures that are set up, we're aiming off the west coast around the Rocky Mountains, aiming around Texas, and then keeping our eye somewhere around Bermuda and the east coast. So it's going to be riding that unstable side of the high, taking you down to the surface. You can sort of see where the high pressure is circulating here, and the next one is off the east coast, where we have our eye on our storm around the Great Lakes, and then we see the tail end down here becoming stationary into the Concho Valley. Now, the future cast, we're going to keep our eye on those northerly winds and this returning cloud cover by tonight. Thursday looking pretty dense, and it's going to be the coolest day of the week, but I promise you, well above those freezing temperatures. So tonight, down into those beautiful 40s. We'll see if we don't stay warmer than that, but we have our eye on some of those strong northerly winds. Then tomorrow, a good run at the 60s, but we'll see if we don't push up into those 70s. We really have our eye on those northerly winds, but it's going to be below about 20 miles per hour, so no dust to talk about. We're on the warm-up after that as we round the corner for the last week of winter. By the time we get to spring, pushing all the way back up into those 80s with a good opportunity for some overnight rain, and then we kick off March still hovering in those 70s while those overnight lows push up from those freezing levels around those 50s. Stay tuned. I'm up to the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.